Hey, my most amazing artist. So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna make some folk art floral bouquets. That's a lot of big words. So what that means is we are going to make our own flowers, okay, with vases. So second graders, you guys did this in class. So this is geared towards you guys if you are in reading masters or if you just were absent and you didn't get to make our folk art flowers for our art show. Now, since our art show was canceled, we went digital and we put it all online. Now, if you didn't get to make one, this is your chance. You can make one while you're at home, make it your own. You don't have to use the same supplies as me. Then you can email it to me and I'll put it with your class, okay? So if you are in second grade and you didn't get to make one, this video is definitely for you. And if you're just at home wanting to make something, this is for you too. So let's get started. All right, friends, so for this video, what you are going to need is you are going to need some type of patterned paper. Now, if you don't have patterned paper at home or scrapbook paper, what you can use is magazines work really great. Some pages from magazines that maybe your parents have or you have. Some newspaper would also be excellent to use, or construction paper or white paper, and you can make your own patterns on your own paper, okay? And so you'll need some type of pattern or lettered writing paper. Then you need a big white paper, something to color your background with. Now, for second grade, we use oil pastels and watercolors, so that's what I'm gonna use for the whole background. However, if you do not have that, you can definitely use markers, crayons. You just want to fill up your background the same way that I'm going to. All right, and then you'll also need scissors and glue. Okay, let's get started. So first things first is you always want to start with your background. Now I'm going to take a marker to split up my background so that I have a table for my vase to sit on. So I'm just gonna draw a line. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you want it perfect, you can always go grab a ruler or some type of straight edge to draw a straight line. But now I have my wall and then my table, okay? So first, for my background, I'm gonna use my oil pastels and I'm gonna make a resist. Now remember, if you don't remember what a resist is, it's when you use oil pastels and watercolor. Oil does not mix with watercolors. They don't like each other. So even if I draw on my background with oil pastels and paint on top, you'll still be able to see that oil pastel because it pushes the water away. All right, so I'm just gonna be taking different oil pastels and I'm gonna be making a linear design, which means I'm gonna be using some different types of lines and filling up my space. Now I'm not coloring all of it because I'm gonna use watercolors for that, but you can do whatever you want. Maybe you fill up your whole background with oil pastels. Remember, this is your artwork. You get to make it how you want to. Okay, and so then maybe I will do a little wavy line. Perfect. So now my background has the oil pastels and I am finished with those. So I'm gonna put those up and put them to the side. Now I'm gonna grab my watercolors and I am going to fill up my background. So I'm just gonna rinse my brush, make sure it's all clean, ready to go. Now I don't wanna use the same colors that I used on here because otherwise it won't really stand out. But I'm just gonna fill in some of my background, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm just gonna fill it up. This brush might be a little too big for me trying to get in those small spaces. That's okay. And when it dries, you'll be able to see those oil pastels a little bit better. I just have a lot of paint on there, so it's a little bit harder to see. Now, I'll be honest, I did not do a great job at painting. I know you guys will. I'm rushing just a little bit so that I can get to show you guys the whole project in just a short amount of time. So make sure that you're taking your time, you're going slow. Do what I normally tell you to do in class. Ooh, and you can even see that oil pastel starting to resist that watercolor. Do you see how it pushes away? Science. All right. Okay, so now I have my background finished, and now I want to paint the bottom of my table. Now, y'all can choose whatever colors you want, but I'm going to choose brown for mine because I want my table to be brown. Oh, that looks red. Let's find a different brown. Let's try this one. There we go, that's more of a golden brown. So I'm just gonna fill my paper up. All right, so once your table is done, you're gonna put this paper off to the side so that it can dry. And now what we're gonna do is we are gonna start our vase and our flowers, okay? So what you need for this part is your scissors, your glue, and your patterned paper. Okay, now we're gonna start with our vase first. So I want my vase to be this striped pattern. I really like this striped pattern. And we want our vase to be symmetrical, which means it's the same on both sides. If we were to cut a line in half, it's exactly the same. So I'm gonna fold my paper in half, okay? And I already have some lines on the back, but just ignore those. Okay, I'm reusing some paper. And I'm gonna make my vase by first, I always start where the crease is. So when I fold my paper, the crease is where I'm always gonna start to draw my line. And I'm only gonna draw half of the vase. I'm not gonna draw the full thing. So I'm gonna start from the crease. I'm gonna go out, down, and then I'm gonna make a big bump like that, okay? Now, you can make your vase any shape you want. Maybe you have more of a rectangle vase or just a full bowl, okay? Some people have a bowl that holds flowers. Whatever you wanna do works for me. Now, I'm gonna keep my paper folded. Don't open it up. And I'm gonna start from that crease, and I am going to cut on the black line. Now, by doing this, some of you might have done this with like a heart, where you fold your paper in half and draw half of a heart, and then when you open it up, you have the full image, okay? So there's my vase. So my vase is good, and now I'm gonna leave it off to the side. Now I'm gonna grab more pattern paper, and I'm gonna start cutting out my flowers. Now, I'm gonna pick 2 or 3 papers to start with. So I really like this polka dot paper and this tie-dye paper. I really like those. So I'm gonna start with those 2 first, okay? Now on the back, I am going to draw circles. You can see I've already drawn on this one, but that's okay. So I'm gonna use, I think I'm gonna use this for a big circle. So I like to draw a big circle. Ooh. And then like a little tiny circle, okay? Then on this one, I'm gonna draw one about in between these two, so like a medium circle. And I'm gonna do it off in the corner so I can use this extra space later. But I'm gonna draw like a medium circle. Now I'm gonna cut all of those out. So I'm gonna take my scissors, cut all of them out. And what we're gonna be doing is we are going to be collaging these together. Now, if you don't know what the word collage means, what it means is you are going to layer these on top of one another. It means we are going to build on top of one another, okay? And I can show you exactly what I mean once I have this all cut out. So I'm gonna take my big circle, my medium, and my baby, and I'm gonna layer them just like this. Now you could even use 3 different papers. Like maybe I used this one for the tiny circle, but what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to take them and I'm going to glue them. Now you can use stick glue or the liquid glue. Just make sure you don't use a lot. You don't need a lot, okay? But I'm just gonna press it and press just like that. So now I'm gonna fast forward and I'm gonna make 2 or 3 flowers. They're not all gonna be the same size. So maybe for some of them, I only have a medium circle as my biggest one, and then I have 2 really tiny ones. Or maybe I have some that have petal shapes on the edges, okay? You don't have to make them just circles. You can make them however you wanna make your flowers. But I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward until I am all finished with my flowers. Okay, so once you have your flowers and your vase done, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be gluing them to your background. Now you can arrange them how you want, but you can see that I'm leaving some space in between my flowers and my vase because I want stems to be able to come out from my background. Now my background is still a little wet, so I'm going to show you guys a finished one to see what it looks like when you add the stems and the leaves. So here is a perfect example of a finished piece. So shout out to Dax in Miss Ayot's class. That's who this portrait is created by. Now you can see they did a beautiful job in the background. Now we used construction paper for the table. If you don't have brown construction paper, you can do what I did and just use watercolors. But I want to show you this because one, his shape of the vase is different than mine, and that's okay. It's similar, but it's still a little different. He came out and he had a point at the bottom, and I really, really like that. Now the part that I wanted to show you guys was the stems and the leaves, okay? He did a great job of putting stems coming from the top of the vase and going straight to his flowers, okay? Then he added some leaves and even drew some details on his leaves with a pencil. Now, if you don't have green construction paper, like I don't have green construction paper here at my house, you can actually take a piece of white paper, color it green with a crayon or a marker, and then cut and glue it just like we did with our patterned paper. All right, so I hope you guys have a great time with this. Happy creating, and if you were in Reading Masters or if you did not get to do this project and you want to do it and be featured on our virtual art show, make sure you email me, okay? My email is on the website, so you can email a picture to me and I will add it with your class. Happy creating!